for a great night of racing. In our recruiting spotlight this week, Ryan Worley for the West Florida Jags. We all know the Panhandle is by far the least recruited area of the state, and that's why it's important to watch a lineman like Ryan. Very athletic, whistle-to-whistle kind of player who is so much fun to watch on running plays. It's not unusual to find him 30 yards up the field chasing plays, which is something that college coaches just love to see. He is a solid pass blocker with great feet, strength, and knowledge of playing the position. This is someone who will definitely be getting some major attention before the year's up. And you know Coach Summerford and the Jags have no shortage of talent, so you are not going to want to miss these guys on Friday night. That's your Gulf Coast Sports Minute. I'm JP.
The teams, the games, the fans, the local talk. This is ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
My grades were bad. I would get D's and C's.
I appeared to be doing good at my school life, but if you would see me at home, it would have been a completely different story.
I mean, it was just rough focusing on school when your mother is somebody you have to take care of.
It got worse and worse and worse throughout the years.
There are students who need somebody.
They can trust someone, and it could be the first person they've ever trusted in their life.
Communities in Schools is lowering America's dropout rate by helping more than 1.3 million kids every year get whatever they need to succeed in school.
If something was going on at home, we would go just stop by Miss Liberty's office and talk to her.
Communities in Schools vouched for me when everyone else had lost hope.
You can help change the picture of education right here in your community and across the nation. Visit communitiesInschools.org.
I hear people say we can't save every kid, but I think that we can.
Hi, I'm Matt Kenseth. You don't have to be a race car driver to know that life can be full of drama. Some of it you can't control, like mechanical issues, high winds, and rain delays. But there's some drama you can skip.
Skip the drama that comes with not having your high school diploma or equivalency. Find free adult education classes near you and finish your diploma. Visit finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org.
You just need to take that first step and find free classes near you, and leave the drama for the racetrack.
Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ed Council.
JP here. At ESPN Pensacola, we are hometown proud. Like the greatest pound-for-pound boxer of all time, Roy Jones Jr.
Three-time light heavyweight world champion and former heavyweight champion of the world, future Hall of Fame legend, Roy Jones Jr.
What up? It's your boy Roy Jones Jr. and you're listening to ESPN Pensacola.
For 30 years, Thomas Home Corporation has proudly helped families build their ultimate dream home. If you're looking to customize your home, we are currently building throughout Escambia, Santa Rosa, and Okaloosa counties, and we can either build your home in one of our subdivisions or even on your own lot. Our team works with you to guide you through each step and decision in the process. Builder of the 2019 American Dream Home and Builder of the Year, Thomas Homes Corporation has built quality homes at an affordable price since 1990. Begin the process today and become one of our proud homeowners at thomashomescorp.com.
This is ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM 99.1 FM. Pensacola's home for hometown sports. Your home to talk football with Coach K, Sports Drive with Chad Brillante, and Sports Call with Davis Allen. If you'd like to partner with ESPN Pensacola or become a sponsor, just give us a call at 262-6000.
You're listening to ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. All sports, all the time. WEBY, Milton, Pensacola.
The following has been produced by Talk Football LLC. Former Florida Gators quarterback, NFL quarterback, and NFL head coach. Coach K. Stevenson has a resume second to none, and now he's sharing his insider information with you. Talk Football with Coach K starts right now on ESPN Pensacola.
To Talk Football with Coach K. JP here with you alongside former NFL head coach K. Stevenson. On this Thursday afternoon, weekend's almost here. It's been quite the week, by the way, with everything going on in college football, which we'll get to today. We'll have a special guest. Pat Dooley will join us from the Gainesville Sun. Pat Dooley, you've heard him on just about everything from SEC Network to ESPN, the Feinbaum Show. He is one of the greatest college football writers that comes around, and he covers the Gators pretty closely. Got a few books out, by the way, as well. But we'll talk about that a little bit later here. Look, we hope everybody's doing well, staying safe, of course, continuing to social distance, throwing on that mask when you can. No political statement here. It's sad I have to say that, but I do. But once again, we appreciate you guys tuning in today. As we always start off our show, we'll do so with thanking our first responders and healthcare workers. Look, what these guys do, and we say it every day, and we'll continue to say it because it needs to be said. If you are one of those folks and you're listening, thank you so much. I know a couple of them are listening today. A couple of them are friends of mine, obviously, that tune in every day, and that's awesome. Hopefully we can, well, give you a little separation from what's going on at the job there and talk some football with you. Look, these guys, what they do each and every day, it goes without saying, putting themselves out there on the front lines. We thank them so much for just the dedication that they have. We are lucky to live, we are blessed to live in a community that has such great police officers, firefighters, EMT personnel, doctors, nurses, all these things. Our healthcare system, by the way, has been rocking this thing. It's been tough. For those folks, by the way, I do want to say this, and I haven't said this before, that are doing the COVID testing, the drive-through, and things like that. Thank you guys so much. Having a couple buddies of mine that showed me some pictures. These folks, it's hot. I mean, it has been hot out there all summer, and these folks have been out there. Remember, they have to stay covered up and things like that. Thank you guys. You guys have absolutely rocked it. And I know our cases are going down a little bit here. We have to continue doing what got us to that point. We have to remember that. We had a spike before. But still, you guys out there, thank you so much. Thank you to all our first responders and healthcare workers. But those folks have been through those drive-thrus. It is tough. It's obviously pretty hot outside. They don't get that air conditioning like a lot of us do. But thank you guys. You guys have done such a tremendous job. But as we're thanking people, grocery store employees, truck drivers, all the essential workers, maybe you didn't know you were essential. Well, here you are. COVID-19, you are essential, and now you know it from here on out. Look, the grocery stores, I will say this, obviously that's where most of us frequent when we have to go get groceries and things like this. Probably one of the most common areas. Take a little extra time, throw a mask on, and understand that these people that work here don't want to follow these protocols any more than you do. So be patient. It's groceries. We're going to get it. We're going to be able to move on. But give those people a thanks. And the truck drivers, you guys know you're the silent heroes. We appreciate everything you do. But look, Coach, I know we have a ton to get to today. Pat Dooley's going to join us. We have a short period of time. But how are you doing today, my friend?
Doing well, JP, and look forward to today. We do have a lot going on, but before we get started, I always want to join you in thanking those people that you thank every day, and I'm glad you do. I think it's a vital part of our program, and I've said before, if we truly wanted to do justice, we'd take the entire hour and maybe add another hour just to go through all that they do and all that all of us should be grateful for. So we are, and we look forward to today, and maybe we can help you a little with some football talk. I think that's something that all of us enjoy doing.
Absolutely, Coach, and you're right. We could talk forever about those folks. It's what they've been able to do is awesome. But we're going to continue to talk about football. That's probably what they want to hear right now as well. So, look, going to jump into this, Coach. Look, everybody has been waiting, not really me, but, other people have been waiting for Jerry Jones, the owner of the Dallas Cowboys right there. We obviously know the Dak Prescott situation. That's not what it's about, but it's about the whole kneeling and the anthem situation that's coming up. And it'll once again, things have kind of died back down about that, but it's going to ramp back up come football time. And obviously Jerry Jones said, look, he's talked to double handfuls of people, that's his words, including former players, our president here, a lot of people. He said, we're going to show grace. I'm going to show grace, and I'd like to show that kind of grace on a sensitive matter. Look, he was talking obviously to the media for the first time in over 100 days. We hadn't heard from him in a while. But sometimes that's a good thing with Jerry Jones. But everybody is genuine here. I'm giving everyone the benefit of the doubt relative to any decision that I make. I have one thing. My job is to run the Dallas Cowboys. My job is to do what's right. We've asked for all of this interest, and we've asked for our players to give everything they've got. So I want to sit down when I have an issue. I have a decision to make. I want to show the world that I can do it with grace and come up with the right solution. I don't know what we're going to be faced with here a month or so from now. Our players have always been open-eared for anything that I have to offer. I've been open-eared for what they have to offer, and that's what we'll do. Coach, look, we know what he said back in 2017, but obviously people, they know how he feels. Jerry Jones has said how he feels, and there's nothing wrong with having that feeling, by the way. It's okay if you agree or you disagree. That's part of living in America, by the way. Just throwing that out there for the people that want to criticize somebody for not agreeing with somebody kneeling. Like, it's okay to not agree with it, all right? Everybody has their own beliefs. But regardless, Coach, I thought Jerry Jones handled this perfectly. I really did, because people wanted him to speak because they knew they disagreed with him, so they could ridicule him. But what he said there, I think was – I laugh because it is the perfect answer. Like, what do you say to that? We all talk about, having respect for other people, and he's talking about, I want to show grace. I'm going to show grace to these people. Coach, I thought he hit this one out of the park.
Well, I have some questions, to be honest with you. Number one, I think it's important that we all realize that what we're getting to in this country is if you say the wrong thing or say something that certain people don't agree with, then they want to ruin you. Absolutely, financially and every other way they can. But he certainly has a right, and I agree that we do understand where his sentiment lies. But I think I really wish he had been a little more forthright and just said it like it is. I'm not sure how the word grace is applicable to this situation. I don't quite get that. I'm not sure if he had said, I understand why some people feel that they want to make a statement. It's just that a statement could be made better in other ways that did not offend people. But so be it. It was handled. He finally, you could tell that he did not want to be in front of a camera. Didn't really want to say anything. And in a way, I don't blame him, but in a way, hey, you got to stand up and say what you believe in as an American. And I just that's where I'm a little off on it. Nothing to condemn him on. I don't think he did anything to be condemned for, even though everybody was waiting for him to say anything because they were going to jump on it, right or wrong. They were going to jump on it bad. So I don't want to be in that category. But I really felt that he had the right to really say what he wanted to say, and if he wanted to relent a little on his statement about from earlier, that's fine. But be straightforward about it. And I don't know what grace meant. I really don't.
Yeah, that's the one thing that Coach, we've talked about it, and we've talked about it off air. I've talked about it with plenty of people, getting perspective, because I think the biggest thing is understanding everybody's point of view on this. And although I disagree with kneeling, I do. That's my belief. I understand what their beliefs and what they're going through, but I disagree with it. It's how I was brought up, and respect for the flag and things like that. And people say it's not about the flag, but okay, that's fine. But in my belief, it is. So here's the thing. I will say this. It's okay to disagree with somebody. And I throw this to everybody out there. Coach, I know you know this. But it's okay. If Jerry Jones believes that you should stand for the flag, that does not mean he is one way or the other. That means he believes you should stand for the flag. That is simply said, regardless. I mean, if there's people, obviously, that believe that now, you know what, they want to kneel, and that's okay. If that's what you believe, and that's truly the way you believe. Now, I will say this. If you believe that because somebody told you to, then I will call you a coward because that you're just following in line with somebody. I'm sorry, but you are. Believe for yourself, understand, and do yourself a favor and get the education you need to believe what you're going to believe, not just because of what somebody said. I think that is so important, that it's okay to believe certain things as long as you educate yourself on them, not just that's what the media said. Oh, man, I don't want to make somebody mad, so I'm just going to do it. That's dangerous, and that's what we're getting to now, and that's where you're talking about if somebody disagrees with somebody else can lose their job, and that's shameful because that's what this country was built on, was the freedom. To disagree with somebody, to not have to be one-minded on these things. But anyway, Coach, I know we got plenty to go on. I just want to throw that out there. Look, the NFL, some good news here. How about this? NFL's positive test rate across all personnel, that's including players, coaches, staffers, all this, 0.46%. Not even 0.46. Out of 109,000 tests, 0.46 have tested positive this entire time right here. Coach, I think, look, this is outstanding. This is great moving forward. I know it's going to be tough, obviously, when we're doing this, But I think so far so good. I mean, .46, this is way better than what I thought. Of course, the NFL said if the testing was below 5, they would obviously stop it after a couple weeks and do it, I believe it's twice a week or whatever it is. But the NFL said, you know what, we're going to extend it through September 5th, which I think is an awesome move on their part. And remember, this is costing them $75 million just for a couple weeks of testing. So they're forking the money out there, Coach, but it's paying off right now.
Oh, absolutely. That's almost negligible infection rate. So there's nothing to jump on there for those people to say they shouldn't be playing. They absolutely should be, and I think they've done a great job in setting up the protocols and the discipline needed to get this done. And certainly they can see what happens. These players want to play; they want their money, and they can see what happens when a baseball player decides to go out to a restaurant or go to a bar or something. They're not going to want to put themselves in that situation. So. Great for football. It's a big move and good news for football. You're right.
Yes, it's awesome. When I saw that last night, I couldn't believe it. I was just like, I had to reread it. .46, by the way, not 1.46, not 46. .46. That is awesome. That is about as good as it can get. I mean, just think about that. And for those people that believe, look, we understand the bubble. If everybody could do the bubble, that's what everybody would do. But it's not feasible with football. There's just too many moving parts in this. So hats off to the NFL and what they've been able to do. And once again, remember, the NFL has been one that's like, yeah, you guys are saying we shouldn't play. That's cool. Are you done? Okay, well, we're going to go with our protocols. We've got our staffers set up. We've got our medical personnel set up. We're good to go. Thanks. Now, all this can change on a dime, obviously, but these players understand what goes into this, and they've just done such a fantastic job. Coach, I know we got to bring Pat Dooley on here in just a second, but George Kittle and the 49ers reach a 5-year, $75 million extension. Look, good for George Kittle, by the way. I think I personally believe he is the most complete tight end. I know Travis Kelce's really good, but I think blocking to catching to everything, I think George Kittle is the most complete tight end here. And, I'm never about big-time money, but I'm not going to fault the guy for getting his money. But good for the 49ers going ahead and securing him for 5 years.
Yeah, he's a unique tight end. There have been some unique tight ends, Gronkowski being one. But Kittle may be even more versatile, believe it or not, than Gronkowski, even though it's pretty much the same thing. He can play in a 3-point stance, meaning he's got his hand down, or he can play in a 2-point stance like a receiver, and he can spread out wide like a receiver, or he can get in tight and block. He can block for the run. He can block for the pass to protect. He is a great run after the catch. Runs outstanding routes. He runs routes that are very similar to wide receivers, to what they run. Now, keep in mind, he has to know the tree, meaning the passing tree, the routes for tight ends, for backs, because sometimes he comes out of the backfield, and for receivers, because sometimes they split him out and he has to run those routes. So when you stop and think about it, this guy's doing a heck of a lot more than a lot of other positions. So, if the market can bear it, then he certainly needs to be the highest paid tight end. I have no problem with that.
Yeah, absolutely. He's well-deserved and very important to that team, and everybody in that team would say the same exact thing. Great locker room guy. Everybody that's come in contact with him loves the guy, and rightfully so. If you've ever watched him, he is a goofball, but, man, he is a competitor, and he is so much fun to watch. And so going to be interesting. Look, he's got paid now. Good for him, and we'll see what happens with the 49ers. But got to go to a quick break here. When we come back, Pat Dooley with the Gainesville Sun will join us. There's obviously he has been right in it. He writes for Gainesville or Gatorsports.com as well. Going to give us some, obviously, college football insight, some Gators insight. It's going to be good to hear. We've gotten a lot of good guests this week, but we'll talk to Pat Dooley when we come back right here on Talk Football with Coach K on ESPN Pensacola.
I'm attorney Stephen Luongo with Levin, Papantonio, Thomas, Mitchell, Rafferty, and Proctor in Pensacola, Florida. Distracted driving is a dangerous epidemic on America's roadways. In 2016 alone, over 3,000 people were killed in motor vehicle crashes involving distracted drivers. This according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. For For more information, please visit us today online at levinlaw.com. Please be safe on the roadways. Stop the text, stop the wrecks.
Hello, sports fans. Miles Bentley here, General Manager at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Pensacola. Growing up, I always loved sports. Nothing but net, out of the park, through the uprights. Sink the puck Bentley, that was me. But my love of the game couldn't beat my love for Pensacola and helping folks get on the road of dreams in a new Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Sure, I never went to the big leagues in sport, but we're all pro here at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Proud to be in Pensacola.
Sometimes your bank, your family, and your friends love you, but they don't have the money to help you. Sometimes we have chances to make money, but the old saying, you've got to have money to make money, rings true. At Pensacola Specialty Pond, we can help. If you have trucks, heavy equipment, airplanes, boats, jet skis, anything with value, Pensacola Specialty Pond can loan you that short-term money you need. No credit checks, and at Pensacola Specialty Pond, you're going to find the money and the discretion you need.
Now at 6428 Pensacola Boulevard, north of Car City. Call 432-9050, 432-9050.
In Pensacola, local and national sports live here. Catch the play-by-play of every game of the Pensacola Blue Wahoos and your national champion West Florida Argonauts football team. Your local high school football games during football season are here, along with the best local sports talk in the biz with Talk Football and the Sports Drive weekdays and Sports Call every Saturday. When it comes to sports radio, there's only one place, ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
You can watch Coach K talk football live right now on our YouTube channel at ESPN Pensacola 1330.
Welcome back to Talk Football with Coach K. JP here with you alongside former NFL head coach Kay Stevenson. This Thursday afternoon, appreciate you joining the show here. And look, a special guest joining us. We're so gracious to have him on, especially in these uncertain times right now. Well, if you're SEC, ACC, or Big 12, seems like we may be having some football this year. But Pat Dooley joins us. Obviously been a sports writer for over 3 decades. We've heard him on radio, television, been a staff writer for the Gainesville Sun. You can check him out on Gatorsports.com. Coach, I know he's one of the greatest, obviously, college sports writers around. I know we have a ton to get to with him, so I'll go ahead and send it over to you.
Okay, thank you, JP, and thank you, Pat. Appreciate you taking the time to be with us. Got a lot of college football fans, and in particular, Florida fans out this way. So it's a treat to have you on.
Yeah, I'm going to actually be out there next week, so look forward to that.
Oh, good. Where are you going to be?
I'll be speaking to the same club I come to out there in Destin every year, the Emerald Coast Gator Club.
Okay. Well, good. Well, listen, I want to get to this has been a whirlwind week. It's turned out pretty much like I felt it would. I thought we'd have this fall, we'd have NFL football, and the big boys would play. Never had much faith in Pac-12 out there on the left coast played, but close positive the Big Ten, but not totally. But anyway, what's your assessment of college football and how it stands today after what's happened over the last 8, 9, 10 days?
Yeah, I mean, look, I wrote about this a little bit in today's paper. I just think the Big Ten and look, the Pac-12 is going to do whatever the Big Ten says. I mean, they're Robin to the Batman of the Big Ten, but I just don't think they had to make a decision now. Look, I don't know that the right answer is to play football. I do know that the right answer was not just to cancel it before you had all the information in. I think they're worried about lawsuits that could result from myocarditis. But I mean, you know, they're already in the middle of lawsuits over concussions right now. So it's not like there hasn't been risks that go along with playing college football. And again, I'm not saying we need to be playing college football. I'm saying I don't think the decision had to be made on Tuesday of this week or Wednesday of this week. Well, Tuesday of this week. I think it could have been put back several weeks and then made the decision later.
Well, I still don't think anybody has really taken on the question that should be first and foremost on everybody's mind. I firmly believe that these kids are safer in the college or in an athletic under protocols set up and discipline to safeguard them, the medicine, medical treatment that's available to them, and the other safeguards as opposed to being back home and running the streets or even in other situations other than being under the football protocols. Now, the other thing that nobody answers is you got to get the virus to have the heart problem later on. Where are you most likely to get the virus? The heart problem is not going to correct itself if you get the virus in the neighborhood or you get it on the football field. It's the same thing. And I don't quite understand it. I really don't. I don't understand the logic that. And the NFL, I don't know if you've heard, but the NFL, some great stats just came out this morning. 0.46 cases of positive testing over thousands of tests that have been done. That's negligible. That's almost nothing. So I really believe that there's something lacking here in the decision making and addressing the issue as it stands.
No, there is, and I think that I think the SEC is kind of looks like the smart ones on all this, because I think people look at the SEC and they go, well, yeah, you're not saying we're going to play at any cost. We're going to play that our appetite for risk is greater than any other conference. We're saying we're not done trying to figure this out whether we can play or not. They were the ones who started. I mean, this is the thing that is so. And one reason I think that the Big Ten gets so much criticism is, when they came out with their schedule 6 days before they called the season, they had the game starting on September 5th, which was just ludicrous. And so the SEC comes out, well, we'll start 3 weeks later. But we're not going to try to start that soon. So and that made sense, and everybody felt like it made sense. But for the Big Ten to do it the way they did, it's just kind of crazy. I don't understand the mentality. Here you got a guy like Kevin Warren, whose son is playing at Mississippi State. What does he tell him? I mean, I don't know. Maybe they're estranged. But he's playing at Mississippi State. You would think, well, it's just as bad in Starkville as it is in Columbus, Ohio.
Yeah, that's amazing. Well, the SEC certainly has done a wise thing in building the versatility into their schedule there. I certainly think that was a wise move, the open dates and starting later. But at any rate, the main question, I don't believe, has been answered. Let's get a little more detailed on the Gators here. What's going on out there? What do you hear with the Florida program?
Well, they're supposed to start practice Monday. They have not told us about anybody who's opted out so far. There was a lot of people that were acting. It's funny because Jacob Copeland was a guy who was hinting that he might want to opt out and then maybe it wasn't worth it. And then when it looked like they were going to cancel the season, he said, no, I want to play. Let us play, So we don't know how these guys are going to handle it. And it's got to be a kind of a weird deal when you're practicing for a season that you don't know whether or not will exist or not. And that's going to – I'll be curious what Dan has to say about how hard these guys are practicing, because everything we've heard, and again, Florida had 0 tests the last time they tested, and everything we've heard is that they've done everything they've been asked. They're in great shape. They're ready to go. They're fired up, and they knew they were about to have a special season. When they added Texas A&M and Arkansas, they're like, that's fine. We got no problem with that. I think a lot of them wanted to play Alabama, but that's a whole other story I can get into. But I think they're fine with it, and they're ready to go. Now, are they going to be ready to go Monday when and it's time to start actual fall camp, and you don't know if there's going to be a fall season? That's going to be the question.
Well, I probably think there will be with the three. If there's any doubt about any one of the three Power 5 conferences, it would be the Big 12 there. But I think all three will go, and I think Florida really. I think we talked about this before. I think Florida's got an excellent shot to recapture the Eastern Division. And if somebody brought up the question about, well, if there are only three Power 5 conferences playing, what is a national championship worth, or is it really legitimate to have a national championship? And guys, the answer is yeah, because it probably comes in Alabama anyway. You could throw Florida and Georgia and maybe Notre Dame into the mix, but it's basically SEC, ACC, and we've got them playing.
Well, yeah. I mean, look, if you have somebody's going to claim a national championship if there is football and they play what we consider at least a close to full season. I mean, that is just the way it is. I mean, you don't have to. You can. I mean, UCF claimed a national championship. Alabama's got national championships where they didn't even finish first in legitimate polls. They finished third in the SEC one year and claimed a national championship. So somebody will claim it. What it legitimized? I don't know. Do you put an asterisk by it? I guess you can if you want, but you can still get rings and celebrate it, and you'll still be considered the best team of those willing to play. Now, the question is, what happens if in the spring we have all these lesser leagues plus the Big Ten plus the Pac-12, which is a lesser league, playing, and they say, well, no, we're the national championships. Maybe we play it off in July. I don't know, but look, nothing is ideal in this world of sports right now. Nothing's ideal in the world. But in the world of sports, we've got a Major League Baseball games being decided by putting a ghost runner on second. We've got basketball games with no home court advantage. We've got golf with no fans. The Masters will be patronless. It's just what you have to deal with, and you have to adjust and evolve and just make it happen and make it and play it and see what happens. And if at the end of the day you go 10-0 and you're in the SEC with the schedule Florida will have, and then you go play an SEC title game and you win that game, there may not be a playoff to play, but you can still say we were the best team in the country. And nobody can really – people can argue with you, but it's not going to do them any good.
I can agree with you. I would agree with you totally. I think anybody that goes through an SEC season and plays in the SEC championship game and they win it, if nobody else plays, you can claim a national championship with that. I would agree totally. Pat, I promised you I wouldn't keep you that long today. I just appreciate your time, my friend, and love to get back with you when everything gets a little closer.
Okay, buddy. Anytime, man.
All right. Thank you.
See you.
That's Pat Dooley right there of the Gainesville Sun, college sports writer. He writes for Gatorsports.com as well. Some interesting insight there, Coach. When you talk about it, you can hear it in his voice. He's like a lot of us, very confused. Doesn't make any sense with the Big Ten and the Pac-12 decision so soon. Obviously, I think it was funny. He said the Pac-12 being the Robin there to the Big Ten. That's awesome. That is something that I'll definitely keep handy as well. And look, I understand exactly what he's talking about. I am a Pac-12 guy. I love Oregon. Not happy with the decision that's being made here, but you know what? I do have family that's over there, Coach. I do understand how things are over there. That's why I'm not as familiar with my family over there. We disagree on a lot of things that can't see eye to eye, and that's okay, but they're still family. Still love them to death. But anyway, Coach, I think it's interesting because that was going to be one of the next topics that we talked about Clemson's Dabo Swinney came out and says basically, look, if fewer teams doesn't hurt the value of the title. And we all, Coach, I think everybody's saying in the NBA, they're saying, you know what, with everything that everybody's having to go through, like this title is going to be even tougher to win now because these guys aren't going about their daily lives. They're not able to go see their family every day or whatever it is. They're stuck in a bubble here, things like that. We're seeing with college football. In college football, these guys are having to follow protocols they've never had to follow before. They're having to be they're scrutinized a lot more than they ever have. They can't go out and about because they understand if they do that and they test positive, that could be their season. That could cost their team something. I mean, just imagine. Obviously, God forbid when we say this, but Kyle Trask goes out on the town, and you got Georgia coming up, and then he's out. He's out for the Georgia game because he wanted to go down to the bar and have a drink. Just think of it. I mean, some of these things these guys do, let's be honest. These guys are college kids. They go out and about. Whether they do it there, they do it back home, they go out and about on their own. They have a good time. They're living their college life. They're big-time athletes. Coach, you understand. You played for Florida. You're looked upon differently on that campus. So, with that being said, I think there's no doubt that whoever wins this championship here in the fall is definitely deserving. And I thought it funny because Pat Dooley the other day tweeted this, and you can follow him on Pat_Dooley right there on Twitter. Always fun to follow Pat Dooley. But he said, Coach Spurrier called a few minutes ago and said the ACC and the SEC should just play their seasons and winners face off for a national title because one conference was going to win it anyway. So I find that funny, and, of course, a lot of people, that stirred them up. But nonetheless, I think, outside of probably Ohio State, that's the only team that you could say, well, they had a legitimate shot of possibly winning a title. I think he's right. But to say that this is not a legitimate title, you want to put an asterisk beside it, I find that absurd to people. I really do, because of what these guys are having to go through. The fact that the Big Ten and the Pac-12 don't play, and if these other teams are able to go through their full seasons, then okay, that's on you, Big Ten and Pac-12. That's not going to take away the legitimacy of a title here. But, Coach, I agree with him. I mean, you can put what you want beside it, but a title's a title.
Oh, yeah. We crossed that bridge a few minutes ago that whoever wins it, certainly, whoever ends up winning whatever contest they put together, a playoff system to win a national championship, has won a legitimate national championship. The best teams in America, college teams, are going to play football as it stands right now. So if the best teams are going to play, why would not the overall winner be the best team in America? Doesn't make sense. Well, after we take our break here, we'll get back and a few other things to discuss.
Absolutely. And, look, we appreciate Pat Dooley coming on with us and joining us. Always fun to talk to him. And remember, you can follow him on Twitter. He also writes for the Gainesville Sun, Gatorsports.com. Always some good articles. He put out a good article that he was talking about today. He put it out there about all this stuff going on in the Big Ten and the Pac-12 and the decision that was made there. So interesting read. Check it out. When we come back from break, an article was put out today by Sports Illustrated of the 12, obviously, Super Bowl contenders here. Some of them make you scratch your head, some of the teams that are in there, and some of the teams that are missing will make you scratch your head even more. And we'll talk about Desmond Howard and his comments about Nebraska and the Big Ten. We'll talk about all that and more when we come back right here on Talk Football with Coach K on ESPN Pensacola.
I'm attorney Stephen Luongo with Levin, Papantonio, Thomas, Mitchell, Rafferty, and Proctor in Pensacola, Florida. Distracted driving is a dangerous epidemic on America's roadways. In 2016 alone, over 3,000 people were killed in motor vehicle crashes involving distracted drivers. This according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. For more information, please visit us today online at levinlaw.com. Please be safe on the roadways. Stop the text, stop the wrecks.
There's only one place in town for the lowest prices and greatest selection of firearms. Pensacola Indoor Shooting Range. Visit our fully stocked Gun Pro Shop for new and used firearms, accessories, and ammunition. Check out the Indoor Shooting Range. We offer rentals on guns, including fully automatic machine guns and silencers. Ladies, this is the safe place to learn how to use a gun. Plus, Tuesday is Ladies' Day. Women shoot for half price all day. The best place to buy firearms in Pensacola. Pensacola Indoor Shooting Range, Highway 29 in Car City.
What if your brother
or your husband? What if your son came back from the service with a spinal cord injury?
When they volunteer to serve, we expect our country to be there for them if they are injured.
For more than 60 years, Paralyzed Veterans of America has been fighting to ensure that we receive all of the benefits that we've earned.
Thank you, Paralyzed Veterans, for helping my husband, my son,
for helping my brother.
You too can help. Visit pva.org, a public service of Paralyzed Veterans of America.
Here are the ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM 99.1 FM contest rules. You can win one prize per household per contest in any 30-day period, unless specified by individual contest rules. All prizes are non-transferable, non-redeemable for cash, or exchangeable for any other contest prize. Prizes must be redeemed within a 30-day period of winning and must be 18 years of age or older to win. For a complete list of rules, visit ESPNpensacola.com.
JP here. At ESPN Pensacola, we are hometown proud. Like the greatest pound-for-pound boxer of all time, Roy Jones Jr.
Three-time light heavyweight world champion and former heavyweight champion of the world, future Hall of Fame legend, Roy Jones Jr.
What up? This is your boy Roy Jones Jr. and you're listening to ESPN Pensacola.
I'm Little Teapot, short and stout.
Here is my handle and here is my spout.
No, Dad, like this. When I get all steamed up, then I shout, tip me over and pour me out.
This is WWE superstar Roman Reigns. It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today.
Visit fatherhood.gov, brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Hey, this is Chad Brillante from the Afternoon Sports Drive, and you're listening to Talk Football with Coach K on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
Welcome back to Talk Football with Coach K. JP here with you alongside former NFL head coach Kay Stevenson. This Thursday afternoon. Hope you're doing well. Appreciate you tuning into the show with us. Jumping back into it, Coach. Look, an article, interesting article that has created a lot of buzz on, of course, NFL radio on XM there. Charlie Weiss was talking about this as well. It stirred a lot of people up here, and it's got me shaking my head. And Connor Orr is the young man here that writes for Sports Illustrated to put this out here, and he says of the 32 teams in the NFL, only 12 have a real shot to hoist the Lombardi Trophy. And Coach, his 12 teams, obviously the Kansas City Chiefs. I'll run through this, and then we'll get your take on this. Kansas City Chiefs, the New England Patriots, the San Francisco 49ers, the New Orleans Saints, the Seattle Seahawks, the Baltimore Ravens, the LA Chargers, the Philadelphia Eagles, Dallas Cowboys, the Packers, the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the Buffalo Bills right there. Coach, okay, some teams that are missing here. The Tampa Bay Bucks, obviously, with Brady and those guys. Look, the Minnesota Vikings and people that want to scoff at the Vikings, well, what did Green Bay do this year to help themselves out? And we saw the Vikings be able to make it the next round of the playoffs there, taking down the Saints, and the Vikings got a lot better this year in the offseason. So there's some teams, in my opinion, that are obvious that are missing here. And then I look at teams like the Chargers. The Chargers of all. Look, I like Tyrod Taylor. He'll be a good fill-in quarterback right now. He's not a bad quarterback, by the way, because people, look, if you want to compare him, he actually has better numbers than Cam Newton the past 40, I think it's 42 starts. So let's throw that out there. But I don't have a problem with the Chiefs and teams, some of these obvious teams, the 49ers, Saints, and stuff like that. The Patriots, look, that's going to be a tough road ahead. I believe that they could possibly win that division. I'm not counting them out. But Super Bowl bound, if you're going to put the Pats in there, but you're going to take the Bucs out, remember the Bucs played really well the last few games, and now you added Tom Brady and some other pieces to that. Coach, what say you of this list? Do you agree with this list? I mean, what teams are missing in your opinion?
Well, I think it's a crazy list. This guy obviously knows nothing about football, hasn't taken an in-depth look at anything. Of the teams that you named, and you've done a good job already of running through it. the haves and the have-nots. There's some teams in there that's going to be very, very difficult for them this entire year. I think it's going to be a difficult year for the Patriots. I think they're going to have. I think they'll win that division. I agree, but I don't know that that's going to get them squarely in the mix for the Super Bowl. I think Green Bay short of talent. The Buffalo Bills, good football team, don't have the quarterback. San Diego Chargers don't have the quarterback. When I say the quarterback, I'm talking about a quarterback that is capable of putting you in the Super Bowl. I agree with the Vikings. I think the Vikings have a shot. I certainly think Tampa Bay. In fact, I'm not so sure Tampa Bay is not my favorite right now to win. When I look at everything going on, every advantage that a team could take to improve themselves, they've done it. They went out and got the best quarterback to ever play the game, and he's there now. He's like having an offensive coordinator on the field. They picked up Gronkowski. They've got excellent talent at the receiver positions. They're pretty doggone good up front, and they drafted the best offensive lineman in the draft who can step right in and start as a right tackle. They improved defensively, plus they picked up another big defensive front guy there in the offseason. They're better defensively, and they're going to be better defensively because simply Brady is going to make them better defensively, and I've talked about this before. You keep their offense on the field longer. They'll make fewer mistakes. They're certainly not going to have 38 turnovers, 30 interceptions, and 8 fumbles. That won't happen. So their defense is going to get much better just based on that. Listen, if I had to choose one, somebody said, "Hey, who would you like to quarterback your football team to go to the Super Bowl?" and I had that talent around, I would choose Tom Brady. Now, I think the Saints are going to have a good shot at it. I agree with that. I'm not sure about some of the other teams that he's got in there, but really that's a flawed list that he's put together for Sports Illustrated.
Yeah, I agree with you, Coach, on that. Like I said, some of these names, and look, you can be optimistic. The Chargers, offensively, I just don't think they're going to get it done. And Tyrod Taylor, like I said, Tyrod Taylor actually has better numbers, I believe it's the past 42 games, than Cam Newton does. For people who want to bring Cam Newton up in this, you talk about Cam Newton, such a great player, and he was a good player. I just don't think he's the same. But regardless with that, the defense is good for the Chargers. We know that. But offensively, where are they going to be? Coach, I want to ask you, two teams here, obviously in the same division that battled it out. Well, it's hard to say battled it out. It was like nobody wanted to win that division last year. But the Eagles and the Cowboys, when you look at these two teams, obviously for the Cowboys, now, whether it's Andy Dalton, Dak Prescott, we believe Dak Prescott's going to be their guy right now, but Andy Dalton's there just in case, so they've got a pretty good backup situation. You've got the weapons offensively that they added. CeeDee Lamb, I thought, was a great pickup for them. Obviously, Amari Cooper and those guys. This is offensively going to be a really good football team. We believe it will be. They still got a good offensive line up front. Got a good running back there. Not the best running back. We'll see what happens with Ezekiel Elliott. He's still a good running back. It seems like kind of when he wants to be. But anyway, with that being said, Coach, when I look at the defense, that's scary to me because on the other side here, the Eagles have a tremendous defense. They are a nasty, very physical defense. They got better this offseason. You still got, on the offensive side, you got Carson Wentz. Hopefully he can stay healthy. That's a big question mark there. What he did last year, though, is very impressive with having almost no help at the wide receiver position, which, by the way, former quarterbacks were playing wide receiver for the Philadelphia Eagles. Greg Ward was your star receiver. But when you look at the Eagles here, running back, Miles Sanders is a guy that, Coach, I said this a few months ago, people better be on the lookout. Miles Sanders is a heck of a running back, and now he is stepping into that role full-time. You got Boston Scott as a backup, Corey Clements. They got a little bit of depth there. As long as, look, they got Elijah Holyfield there, the young man out of Georgia, is in that backfield as well. I think the biggest question mark is, can they stay healthy as a receiver? Now, you added Jalen Reagor from TCU, the speedster, which I thought was tremendous. They needed somebody to burn it down the field to open it up. You got Alshon Jeffrey coming back. Will he stay healthy? Well, if he does, coaching Deshaun Jackson and those guys, you still got Zach Ertz. Don't forget about that, and a pretty good offensive line. I really believe, and this is my opinion, I want to get your take on it, Coach. I really believe the Eagles will win that division, even as good as the Cowboys are, because when I look at the Eagles, I see a complete defense, and obviously injuries will tell the tale here, but I see a complete offense. So that's where it's close, but I got to take the Eagles over the Cowboys.
Well, I have two good football teams. In fact, I think you got to put the Eagles in the hunt. At least mention them as a possible outsider on the Super Bowl hunt. Because if they can keep a quarterback healthy, that which is a big if because he's been hurt quite a bit. But if they can keep him healthy and the receiver core healthy, along with Ertz, I think Ertz is a real key to that football team. But if they can do that, they're going to be in there with anybody else. I would have to agree with you. I think it's going to be interesting between Dallas and Philadelphia. But I got to pick between the two. I got to pick Philadelphia as well.
Yeah, well, Coach, you know what? You're right. When you look at Philadelphia, this team is obviously a team that's won it before. But if they can stay healthy, this is going to be a dangerous team. And we know this is no disrespect to Dallas. Dallas has done a great job this offseason. But the Philadelphia, man, it's going to be fun to watch those guys because you know how good that defense is. But look, I want to go to a quick break. When we come back, the Spring League. This is a Spring League that they're talking about playing in the fall. That's interesting enough. Maybe need to change the name there. We'll talk about, again, I want to get to this, what Desmond Howard said about Nebraska, and they need to take themselves out of the Big Ten. We'll get to that, as well as a movement may be coming for Pac-12 and Big Ten players here who were, well, high-round draft picks. This was something that is released. Sources are saying right now they are going ahead and getting their agents. So be prepared to hear a lot of people saying they will forego the spring season for Big Ten and Pac-12 schools. We'll get to all that and more when we come back right here on Talk Football with Coach K on ESPN Pensacola.
I'm attorney Stephen Luongo with Levin, Papantonio, Thomas, Mitchell, Rafferty, and Proctor in Pensacola, Florida. Distracted driving is a dangerous epidemic on America's roadways. In 2016 alone, over 3,000 people were killed in motor vehicle crashes involving distracted drivers. This according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. For more information, please visit us today online at levinlaw.com. Please be safe on the roadways. Stop the text, stop the wrecks.
Hello, sports fans. Miles Bentley here, General Manager at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Pensacola. Growing up, I always loved sports. Nothing but net, out of the park, through the uprights. Sink the puck Bentley, that was me. But my love of the game couldn't beat my love for Pensacola and helping folks get on the road of dreams in a new Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Sure, I never went to the big leagues in sport, but we're all pro here at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Proud to be in Pensacola.
Sometimes your bank, your family, and your friends love you, but they don't have the money to help you. Sometimes we have chances to make money, but the old saying, you've got to have money to make money, rings true. At Pensacola Specialty Pond, we can help. If you have trucks, heavy equipment, airplanes, boats, jet skis, anything with value, Pensacola Specialty Pond can loan you that short-term money you need. No credit checks, and at Pensacola Specialty Pond, you're going to find the money and the discretion you need.
Now at 6428 Pensacola Boulevard, north of Car City. Call 432-9050, 432-9050.
Pensacola's own NFL Hall of Famer Emmitt Smith has some tips for us during this time.
This fight is up to all of us to try to help bend that curve. It's going to take teamwork. It's going to take us to stay committed, stay focused, and stay dedicated to the mission at hand, and that is to keep everyone safe. So be encouraging. Find some support. Find someone to talk to every day to encourage them to keep on continuing in this fight. And we will beat this pandemic.
This Thursday at 5:30, tune into the Sports Drive with me, Chad Brillante, when we tee it up with PGA and head pro at Osceola Golf Course, Adrian Stills, for his inside scoop on local golf events and some entertaining stories around the links. Adrian has represented Pensacola at the highest levels of the PGA Tour and is proud to call Pensacola his home. And now he's giving you the inside scoop Thursday at 5:30, right here on the Sports Drive on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
From quarterbacking the Pensacola High Tigers to being head coach of the Buffalo Bills, Coach K. Stevenson knows the game, and he brings his expertise to talk football with Coach K. Weekday afternoons from noon to 1 on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. The teams, the games, the fans, the local talk. This is ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
Welcome back to Talk Football with Coach K. JP here with you alongside former NFL head coach K. Stevenson this Thursday afternoon. Appreciate you tuning into the show with us. Final segment here. And real quick, before I get to some of the other news, obviously, if you're a Saints fan, well, we won't have fans in the stands for the debut right there against Tom Brady and the Bucs. But if you're a Cowboys fan, they plan to play all their games in front of fans right now. So just throwing that out there for folks, plan accordingly. I guess most of these people already knew this. But, Coach, I do want to get into the Spring League. Now, I just real quick, won't spend too much time on this, something that was obviously put out there. The Spring League, now, this guy, Brian Woods, has done leagues before in the spring, obviously in Texas, and it's almost like an instructional league where they bring guys out there and they basically create 6 teams. Now, he's doing something like that now. He's calling it the Spring League, but it's going to be in October is their plan, obviously. A little interesting there, but it's a 6-team football tournament in Las Vegas in October using a bubble concept that will be obviously the first of its kind when you're talking about football and doing this. The teams would be stocked mostly with players who were released by NFL teams, but also include 20 to 30 college players from FBS Power 5 schools that either opted out of playing in 2020 or had their seasons canceled. Now, obviously, that some of the details are being finalized, but he would have 6 teams of 38, which is about 228 players, and altogether he estimates about 280 players, coaches, and other staff members would be quarantined within the bubble. And he said the event, this is scary to me, but hey, if you got the money, I guess, whatever. The event would be funded internally with the possibility of recouping some money from a broadcast agreement at a later date. Coach, when I hear that, first off, what are these players going to get paid? That maybe really got released from these teams. Some of the leagues that he's done before, the players did not get paid. I did some research on that. I can't imagine some of these guys going and not getting paid at all, especially if you're released by an NFL team. But then again, I don't know. Coach, do you think this is something that we'll actually see happen here in October?
I hope not. Sounds like not a one-off, but a 10-off. This is just this is somebody with a half-baked idea, and I think the feeling that there may be, because of the virus, there may be a vacuum in the football world that they can sneak in. Those are my feelings. I may be totally wrong, and I will admit that if I am, but I don't see it, and hope we don't see it.
Yeah, the big red flag to me is calling it the Spring League but having it in October. So if you haven't changed that yet, there you go. I agree with you, Coach. This makes me kind of very, very skeptical, and to hear once again it's going to be funded internally with the hopes of getting some broadcasting and things like. Well, we'll see. I don't believe it's going to happen. Like I said, I did some research on his past leagues, and every other league he's done before, the players did not get paid at all. So I can't imagine it being voluntary right now. I don't know. We'll see. But don't get your hopes up is what I would say, and that'd be my feelings about that. Coach, I do want to talk about this. Desmond Howard obviously went on yesterday on Get Up, and him and Paul Feinbaum, which Feinbaum, I have lost a ton of respect. I will say this, and I would say this to Paul Feinbaum. I've lost a ton of respect because we all have our beliefs, and we stand on our beliefs, and we can change our beliefs sometimes, when we get more information about things. But wishy-washy is what I would call him, just jumping from one way to the other. It seems pleasing other people. Don't make a decision to please other people. Make that decision and believe what you believe because it's truly what you believe deep down in your heart. I said that earlier on in the show. I'm not going to get on that soapbox anymore. But Desmond Howard said, I would demand a public apology from Nebraska if I'm Kevin Warren, which Kevin Warren is obviously the one right there with the Big Ten. Right now I'm working on a way to get their ASS out, is what he says, of the Big Ten. He said, they're not Notre Dame. They don't have a cachet there. Obviously, he goes on to talk about, I'm going to applaud the presidents for not listening to the likes of people like Nebraska who are doing the biggest whining right now. Look, there's a lot of – look, the Feinbaum said, I've been covering college football forever, and you know what? Nebraska hasn't been relevant in the Big Ten. I haven't seen them in the national championship. He said Scott Frost is claiming a national championship from UCF. He goes, this is shameful of them. Coach, I will say this, and this is my personal opinion on this. I think it's shameful that somebody like Desmond Howard goes out there and who I had a lot of respect for Desmond Howard. But for him to say this, whenever, how many people look to him and stuff, and to say, get your ASS out, I think that is shameful, because what Scott Frost did was exactly what the other coaches and Ryan Day and Jim Harbaugh and these other guys, James Franklin, as well as others, have said, and he wants to pick him out because they're Nebraska, because what, they haven't been relevant yet, like because they want to play football, because you have a coach that wants to stand up and says, listen, our tests, we have had no positives. We've been doing what we're supposed to be doing here. If we can play football, we should be able to play football, which once again is the same thing Ryan Day said, the same thing Jim Harbaugh said, and the same thing James Franklin said, that we will exhaust every opportunity to go play football. But for Desmond Howard to come out and have the gall to say this to Nebraska and demand an apology, I'm sorry, Coach, but that is shameful in my book.
Well, I would agree totally, and there's probably an underlying reason for that with Desmond Howard. He can't couch everything, but anyway, he said it, and I think it's wrong, and I think it's. I agree with Paul. Paul has done an outstanding job in so many ways, but to have not been a stand-up guy on this college football season is a little surprising and a little disappointing. But anyway, two disappointing things there that you pointed out, but they're things we have to live with. So
you're right.
We'll move on.
Yeah, you're right about that. That's probably, look, if that's the last thing I get disappointed in, then you know what? I'll take a win after this. This is going to be. It's been an interesting year regardless. So we move on, but I voiced my opinion. Anyway, Coach, look, this is for people out there. Look, the Big Ten, Pac-12, Mountain West, obviously the MAC conference out there. A bunch of these schools have said we're going to try to play in the spring. We'll see if it happens. By the way, I do want to say this, Coach, and I know me and you both kind of have the same feeling that I don't see spring football happening. But regardless, if we do have spring football, Coach, that could mean we could have 6 months of college football. I mean, if you're a fan, you gotta love that, right?
Well, that's true. It could happen, but I agree. I don't really see it happening with college football playing in the spring. I think the spring league, they're going to play the pro or semi-pro, whatever you want to call it. They'll play in the spring, the X League or whatever. But I don't see colleges doing that. I really don't.
Yeah, I agree. And, Coach, by the way, on that XFL note there, the XFL presidents and the owners of the team have come out and they're starting to speak a little bit more and saying they're now working to get the fall season or the spring season going. Now, obviously, The Rock, Dwayne Johnson and his whole group there have purchased it. They're working to get it going. So I tell you what, this is regardless, it'd be great to see the XFL get back on its feet here. But you know what? It's just a positive sign, just some more football. But, Coach, that sound, as always, means time for us to go. Well, we didn't get to everything, but you know what? We'll give it our best shot tomorrow.
You bet. Enjoyed it, JP. See you tomorrow.
Absolutely, Coach. Enjoyed it as always. Appreciate it, and appreciate our listeners out there. Look, once again, as everything's evolving here in the college football season with the NFL, we're going to bring you the news every weekday here. So same time tomorrow, we'll be talking some football with you right here on Talk Football with Coach K on ESPN Pensacola.
With ESPN Pensacola or become a sponsor, just give us a call at 262-6000.
You're listening to ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. All sports, all the time. WEBY, Milton, Pensacola.
Go Sports Center. I'm Doug Brown. George Kittle of the 49ers will get a 5-year contract extension worth $75 million. He'll get a $30 million signing bonus, which is a record for NFL tight ends by more than $12 million. 3 Power 5 conferences are still planning to have football in the fall. Virginia Athletic Director Carla Williams in the ACC says she's hopeful.
Our coaches have done a phenomenal job with all of the safety protocols that we put in place. Student athletes have done a great job. Our numbers are off the charts, great. So we're excited.
Carla Williams on Packer and Durham. A group of U.S. senators is proposing a college athlete's Bill of Rights. It's meant to be a starting point for continuing conversations about giving athletes a bigger voice in revenue, health and safety, and educational issues. Baseball today, the Nationals and Mets tied at 1 in the third. Mets outfielder Jeff McNeil carted off the field after crashing into a wall, making a catch in the first inning.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin. Mornings, coming August 17th to the all-new ESPN Radio.